of my show, Pushing Beyond the Obvious. Today, I want to talk about four traits that uh, that make any leader highly successful in what they are supposed to deliver as a leader, but at the same time, make them leaders worth following. This is based on um, uh, my own work. I've spoken about this a lot of times in this channel as well, but also based on the work done by Linda Grattan. She is a professor of management practice at the London Business School. Uh, what are these four traits and why are they important? Let's talk about that. First, and the most important trait that any leader worth their salt today need to be really good at is leading under conditions of uncertainty. And this is something that we've come back to again and again, multiple times on this channel. Very fact that we live in a world which is constantly changing, whether it is technological disruptions, whether it is competitive innovations, whether it is geopolitical tensions, whether it is supply chain disruptions, irrespective of what form of uncertainty that you end up seeing based on which part of the organization that you work for. What is certain is that you will end up leading your team under conditions of uncertainty and complexity. So, the ability to navigate that uncertainty, navigate that complexity in a way so that you not only are able to understand this complexity and simplify it for your team to understand and to know what they need to do, what they can control and what they cannot control, and what how do we move ahead even in these circumstances of uncertainty. And at the same time navigating the complexity as well, so which means that you need to be able to understand how systems are linked to each other, how different actions can lead to different consequences, and not only able to think one level, but also to go one, two, three, third order impact of the decisions that you are trying to make. And all of that without having all the data with you at any given point in time. So that is the nature of the beast now. And if you really want to be a leader, this is becoming more and more table stakes. The ability to provide stability when everyone else around you is uncertain and is chaotic. You become the island of security and stability, which your team can work around. You provide that platform, and you be that pillar of stability in a world that is constantly changing and becoming too complex. And so that's skill number one, which is our ability to um, navigate uncertainty and complexity. So the second trait that we are looking at is about looking and taking a systems approach to the leadership. What do I mean by that? And this is again something that we've come back to many, many times in this channel in the past as well, which is what we need to be able to do is not just think from our limited point of view. Understand the entire value chain of your organization, irrespective of where you are, how high you are in your organizational ladder, or how low you are in an organizational ladder. Understanding the value chain, which means that right from the raw material, or it could be intellectual capital, or human capital, or financial capital, or any raw material in a manufacturing operation, and look at what is the value chain that kind of continues to add value, and what is the value that the end customer gets, and where do you sit in the value chain, and what impact does your decision have on the entirety of the value chain. As you all know, if you've seen any of my videos in the past, I'm a big fan of Dr. Eliyahu Goldratt and his theory of constraints. I'm also a big fan of systems thinking, whether it is Peter Senge or any other systems thinkers that you can think of. So If we are able to understand the role that we play in the entire value chain and the impact that each one of our decision has on the entire value chain, we can optimize for the effectiveness and efficiency of the entire value chain rather than just local optima, which is just optimizing for our efficiency and effectiveness. A lot of times you will find that businesses leaders make decisions which are locally optimized, which means that it might be really really good for their business. They may meet all their KPIs, but in the end costs the business a lot more because it screws up the global optima or whatever the business is optimizing it for, in terms of the value delivery to the customers, in terms of return of investment, in terms of whatever metric you want to look at. So by focusing on local optima, what they end up doing is endangering the global optima, and which means that the overall profitability of the organization goes down, effectiveness of the operations go down, and effective, highly successful leaders understand their impact on the overall global optima that the organization is going for, and make decisions which are not only relevant for their teams but at the same time keeping in mind the entire value chain. So that's something that I have multiple times spoken about, and Linda talks about this particular concept as holding an enterprise mindset. So which means that not only looking at my department, my team, but looking at a organization as a whole, and what impact does each one of our decisions have when it comes to the overall value chain, right? So the third trait is all about delivery. So delivering on what you promise that your team will deliver, and going beyond and delivering outputs, whatever it is. Whether it is a report, if you are in finance team, whether it is product, if you are in manufacturing, whether it is a design, if you are in R&D, whether it is whatever is your deliverable, going above and beyond and being excellent at what you do is again table stakes if you really want to be a leader worth following. And that's exactly what we're talking about, right? Everything that I talk about is to help us become leaders worth following. And delivering consistently excellent output is something which you have to do. It's a table stake, necessary but not sufficient kind of a condition. And again, boils down to many of the same things, making sure that your team knows what is expected out of them, making sure that you set high expectations, making sure that you are able to consistently support your team when it comes to whatever they need in order to deliver excellent performance, and not optimizing for each individual's performance, but also at a team level and at an organizational level, whatever is the best for the organization. It is also important that we are very clear in terms of what exactly is expected out of us, and what role does each one in our team play in order to get to that level. So it also means that our ability to communicate to our teams is really good. We are able to develop and deliver the next generation of leaders within our organization as well, and everything else that comes to excellence in delivery. So Linda talks about this in the form of enabling consistent excellence. So the last but not the least is what any leader worth following will do, which is develop the next generation of leadership talent. And again, this is something that we come across many, many times in the past on this channel. Uh, One of the fundamental roles of a leader is to build new and better leaders. The way you can do that is by enabling people to shadow you, by giving people responsibility even before they are ready for it, and making sure that they have everything that they need, whether it is tools, whether it is coaching, whether it is training, whether it is oversight, whether it is freedom to do as they find it right, the freedom to experiment and learn, so that we are able to develop better leaders, even better leaders than we ourselves are. So the true test of leadership is when you are able to develop a pipeline of leaders who end up doing better work than you, and that also consistently kind of raises the bar for yourself as a leader as well. So these are the four traits that we want to talk about when it comes to highly successful leaders in the current volatile, uncertain, complex environment that we live in and operate in. And I think Linda, in her concept of adaptive leadership, talks about all the four all the four traits as well. I hope that you are able to embody, if not all of them, at least two or three of them every single day, because that is exactly what is needed. It is not that on one day I will do leadership development. On some other day I will do when my team is able to deliver good results, then I will look at everything else. Doesn't operate like that. You have to be able to do and move the needle on all four traits every single day. You're constantly looking at opportunities for leadership development for your teammates that you lead. You're constantly looking at creating an environment and the culture which not only rewards excellent performance but also expects it and also enables it. You're also consistently on an ongoing basis looking at the value add and the overall value chain, and taking an enterprise mindset, as Linda talks about, in when it comes to decision